My boyfriend wishes to part ways with me, and I find myself reluctant to let go. He is tall, handsome, and comes from a wealthy family. Hesitantly, I inquired, "Could you introduce me to another man?" Jiangji stared at me, utterly bewildered, a plethora of questions reflected in his expression. Huh? Just moments ago, he had proposed the breakup. He presumed I would react like his previous girlfriends, clinging desperately and pleading for him to reconsider. However, the frown that had been etched on his face instantly crumbled upon hearing my words. He appeared momentarily stunned, as if questioning whether he had misheard. Jiangji cupped his ear. "What did you say? I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? Could you introduce me to another man?" I patiently reiterated, providing further clarification. "You men understand men best. Please recommend a good one. Someone just as tall, handsome, and wealthy as you. Is that possible?" I implored him with a pitiful gaze. Jiangji, in a fit of anger, broke into a sardonic smile. "Songjun, I truly underestimated you. Your looks may not be remarkable, but your ambition is considerable, and your appetite is quite large." I blinked, unfazed, and reached out to tug at his sleeve, gently shaking it as if whispering sweet nothings in a lover's playful tone. "Brother Ji, please? I beg of you." Without a hint of mercy, Jiangji brushed my hand away as if it were something filthy, vigorously wiping his sleeve. He raised his gaze, glaring fiercely at me, grasping my chin with an iron grip. "You better wait." I instinctively rose on my toes to plant a kiss on him. Jiangji recoiled in distaste, turning his head aside, ignoring the disdain in his eyes. I wrapped my delicate, feeble hands around his neck and boldly kissed him again, contrasting his hardened heart with my soft lips. The moment our lips met, it was fleeting. "That I'll be waiting for you, Brother Ji," I murmured. Jiangji hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty passing through his eyes, gradually revealing the sentiment of regret. I blew him a kiss from afar, reminding him, "I await your good news, Jiangji, Brother Ji, Jiangji." In that moment of severing our connection, a boundary befitting that of strangers was established. Regardless of how Jiangji wavered or wrestled with his emotions, I stood up, gathered my bag, and departed, paying only for my portion at the counter. Every penny accounted for, utterly cleaned. I settled the bill. A voice called out from behind, "Wait." I donned a pair of sunglasses from my bag and walked away without looking back. To take up and to let go, I mastered both. 2. As I approached the car, Jiang Zi's twin brother, Jiang Zi, sprang forth unexpectedly. He tilted my chin upwards and teasingly suggested we embark on a romantic liaison. I nodded in agreement, willingly acquiescing. Jiang Zi's actions were remarkably swift. He promptly delivered his younger brother to my doorstep. Jiang Zi opened the car door with utmost chivalry, inviting me to take the passenger seat. Half an hour later, we arrived at the mountainous villa district. As the gentle breeze caressed us, Jiang Zi turned to glance at me. I smiled, entwined my arm with his, and leaned closer, gazing at him with a cheerful sparkle in my eyes. Jiang Zi appeared momentarily taken aback, and, as if compelled by an unseen force, lowered his head and gradually leaned in. Just as our lips were about to meet, it was as if a sudden realization struck him, and his expression cleared with lucidity. He abruptly pushed me away. I stumbled back a few steps and, upon regaining my balance, caught sight of the disdainful look in his eyes, thick as molasses. Indeed, my appearance was unremarkable, utterly ordinary. The twin brothers, Jiang Zi and Jiang Zi, were exceptionally striking, radiating allure. Tall and athletic, with chiseled abs and a perfectly sculpted physique, they possessed everything one could desire. Their lineage was impeccable, hailing from the elite circles of Jiangzhou City, leaving no room for criticism. Surrounded by beauties, they undoubtedly regarded someone as inconspicuous as I with contempt. Jiang Zi's interest in me was likely a mere distraction following his recent breakup with his girlfriend. Spotting me, he had whimsically pulled me into his orbit, brazenly declaring his intent to date me. Enchanted by his looks, physique, and background, I readily consented. I was fully aware that he sought a change of pace, and yet I was unwilling to relinquish the opportunity presented by this affluent and handsome suitor, thus engaging in a mutual deception. It must be said that Jiang Zi was quite generous when it came to spending on his girlfriend. A mere glance from me would prompt him to whip out his card without hesitation. His prowess in the bedroom was equally commendable, leaving little to be desired. After a month of this tenuous relationship, Jiang Zi ultimately grew weary of me, a conclusion I had anticipated. "You're just too ugly. We must part ways," Jiang Zi declared. His words more cutting than his brother's. Jiang Zi had at least softened the blow by suggesting he was simply tired of the relationship. I tucked my hair behind my ear and regarded Jiangzi, whose demeanor was unexpectedly gentle as he spoke in a soft tone. Breaking up is fine, but do find me a man. 3. Jiangzi let out a sarcastic laugh, his anger manifesting as humor. You truly are just like my brother, shameless and thick-skinned as a city wall, clinging to our circle with no intention of leaving. I remained unfazed, gazing at him with eager anticipation. Jiangzi met my gaze for 3 seconds before slowly retrieving his phone. All right, as you wish, ex-girlfriend. He tapped away on his phone, then tucked it away. Let us go. The guys are at the villa. Let us see who wants you. With that, Jiangzi impatiently reached for my arm. I promptly raised my hand to halt him, meeting his expression of annoyance tinged with a hint of curiosity. I smiled gently. No physical contact between men and women. Just a moment ago, we had been walking hand in hand, and now I was putting a considerable distance between us. Jiangzi paused, momentarily taken aback, and waved dismissively, attempting to mask his embarrassment. I can't be bothered with you. Who would want to touch you anyway? Truly, the ugly stir up trouble. The more he spoke, the more it seemed he was trying to conceal something. I understood his game, but chose to remain silent. Jiangzi, flustered and angry, strode forward, mumbling under his breath. Ha, who cares? I followed him at a leisurely pace. In my phone's notes, I marked a check next to Jiangzi's name, half an hour. Jiangzi, 1 month. Jiangzi, half an hour. This pair of twins was indeed handsome. Reflecting on my first love, Jiangzi, didn't he seem so bad after all? Beneath Jiangzi's name, I noted my evaluation. Generous, satisfactory performance. For Jiangzi, I recorded half an hour, with a note stating explosive upon contact, performance unknown. 4. The villa was ablaze with light. Each individual was strikingly attractive, all boasting long legs, some with their collars undone, revealing a glimpse of their chests and exquisite collarbones. As I entered, a collective gaze turned towards me, some filled with disdain, others laced with intrigue, and a few curious. I feigned ignorance, maintaining my composure as I surveyed the room, ultimately resting my gaze on a semi-reclined figure. There was no mistaking it. He revealed a sliver of his toned abdomen, strikingly pale, with abs that appeared remarkably firm. Who wouldn't he be captivated? His long legs sprawled elegantly, one foot on the sofa and the other on the coffee table, showcasing his enviable physique. He was engrossed in a game, casting a fleeting glance my way as I entered. My heart fluttered. I wanted to engage. A derisive laugh shattered my reverie. I shifted my gaze, realizing it was the twins who had spoken. My eyes were almost glued to that individual. The surrounding crowd erupted in whispers. What game are you playing? Jiangzi inquired, addressing the gamer. Haven't you noticed someone is staring at you without blinking? Jiangzi nudged the gamer with his foot. Your girlfriend is watching you. My heart ached at his blatant violence. The gamer, still focused on his game, was clearly irked by the interruption. Hearing the term your girlfriend repeatedly only fueled his fury, and he shouted without looking up. What are you standing there gaping at? Come over. What's wrong? Are you embarrassed because your 2 exes are here? You don't want to be seen with me? Am I really less appealing than those twins? Immediately, I scampered over, seating myself beside him, slightly leaning my head on his shoulder, my fingers gently brushing against his arm, teasingly grazing his exposed abdomen. Indeed, it was quite firm. Under the peony, one dies. Even as a ghost, one is still charming. The gamer shifted uncomfortably, attempting to withdraw his arm, but as he was at a critical moment in his game, he could only frown and continue playing. Laughter erupted around us, including the twins' acerbic remarks. Wow, you're really clingy. What a sticky situation. I paid them no mind, my focus solely on my current boyfriend's face. With a high nose bridge, large eyes, and luscious lips, he must be delightful to kiss. His long lashes were perfect for catching tears. I was so engrossed that I noticed nothing beyond my own desires. When the gamer won the game, I gleefully kissed his cheek, just as soft as I had imagined. You're amazing. As the saying goes, one doesn't strike a smiling face, especially since I was now his new girlfriend. The gamer was neither pleased nor displeased. His brows were furrowed. The eager gazes of his friends only deepened the lines on his forehead. Tenderly, I reached out to smooth away the worry from his brow. The gamer grasped my wrist firmly, enough to redden my skin. With such strength, he must be quite vigorous. Just as he opened his mouth to scold someone, he caught sight of the twins' watchful eyes. Suddenly, understanding dawned upon him, and he smirked knowingly. He abruptly pulled me into his embrace, laughing with abandon. Songjun, let your boyfriend show you how to play. I smiled sweetly, my cheeks flushed with shyness as I nestled into his embrace. All right, brother Wenren. 5. In the following days, I found myself either playing games with Wenren Shi or on my way to play games with him. Songjun, you rookie, what are you staring at? Use your skills. Are you saving your ultimate for a rebellion? Songjun, what are you looking at? Look at the opponent. Their gun is aimed at your head. Why are you wandering around? Damn it, are you dead? Just standing there to get your head blown off. Fuck. My technical skills are undeniably lacking. When Renshi's fury escalated from a mere flicker to a blazing inferno, ultimately soaring to a level akin to a rocket ready to explode at the slightest provocation. I went from lying in his embrace to sitting beside him, and eventually, I found myself keeping a safe distance, fearful that a moment of impulsiveness might send me flying across the room. Damn it! After abruptly ending the game, when Renshi hurled his phone against the wall, shattering it into a myriad of pieces. His expression was dark, a storm cloud looming over him, and I felt an ominous premonition that trouble was brewing. Sure enough, without uttering a word, when Renshi tossed me onto the bed, his intellect was simplistic, while his physical prowess was undeniable. I felt stars dancing before my eyes. As his face gradually flushed, I interjected, I have something to tell you, but can we discuss it after I wake up? Please. After a moment's contemplation, he nodded in agreement. The following morning, after a tumultuous night, when Renshi grasped my shoulder earnestly, your looks are mediocre at best, but your gaming skills are absolutely abysmal. Utterly pathetic. I could no longer tolerate it and declared, I want to break up. This house will serve as my severance pay. Without a second thought. When Renshi pulled up his pants, turned his back on me, and tossed the keys aside as he walked out. In a timely manner, I called after him. Breaking up is fine, but you must introduce me to a man. His steps faltered, almost slipping as he turned around, incredulous. What did you say? You want me to find you a man? I nodded earnestly, adding, a man who doesn't play games. When Renshi felt his temper rise, and with a sardonic laugh, he repeated, a man, and one who doesn't play games? Good, splendid, he scoffed. What is so special about a man who doesn't play games? Haha. Songjun, just wait for me. I replied with utmost seriousness. All right. I shall wait for you to find me a man. With that, when Renshi stormed out in a fit of rage, prompting me to ponder the need for a new lock, I jotted down a note on my phone. When Renshi, a week's worth of gaming addiction, with exceptional stamina and strength. Yu Huayong does not play games. His passion lies in fishing, often spending entire days at it. I sat beside him, suffering countless mosquito bites. But the moment I laid eyes on his captivating visage, all complaints vanished. Yuge, the fish is biting. As soon as I spoke, Yu Huayong tugged on the line, reeling in a lively, plump fish. His expression remained stoic, yet a hint of a smile flickered in his eyes. A cool and handsome man who has a penchant for fishing, he had me thoroughly enchanted. Seizing the moment, I leaned in and pressed a soft kiss against his lips. Yu Huayong paused, then deepened the kiss, pressing my head closer. I licked my lips, feeling a surge of warmth and affection. As the night air thickened, I could no longer contain myself and leaped toward him. He embraced me with one arm while wielding the fishing rod with the other. The lake shimmered with ripples, startling any fish that dared approach the bait. At long last, we concluded our outing, leaving me utterly exhausted. Yu Huayong, however, suggested our next fishing trip could last 10 days, or even half a month. Just he and I beneath the cerulean sky. This was more than fishing. It was clearly a pursuit of my heart. Little did I expect that this time his group of close friends would also join us. On the cruise, a plethora of attractive men and women surrounded us, dazzling to behold. As I stood there, the atmosphere fell silent. I paid no mind to their stares or whispers. My gaze unwaveringly fixated on the man with the fishing rod. I approached and linked my arm with his. Yu Huayong's countenance remained impassive as he picked up the fishing rod and bucket, making his way to the deck. Before we could even begin, we encountered a pair of twins, each accompanied by a beautiful long-haired woman. They were as striking as ever, unabashedly flamboyant. One of the lovely women, linked to Jiangji, raised an eyebrow and scrutinized me. I expected an angelic visage, yet this was hardly recognizable amidst the crowd. Her voice was shrill, drawing curious glances from those around. Jiangji's companion seized the opportunity to chime in, tired of exquisite delicacies? Sometimes a simple bowl of porridge is a refreshing change. though I never anticipated this cheap porridge would actually suffice. The twins remained silent, leaning against the railing, appearing indifferent and detached from the situation. Yu Huayong did not speak up to defend me, which only reinforced my lack of concern. The affront was not to me but to him. Since the main party showed no interest, I felt no need to embarrass myself further. I gently shook Yu Huayong's arm, offering a tender reminder: the sun is shining, and the breeze is gentle. We are bound to catch a big fish today. Yu Huayong offered no response, simply continuing toward the deck. The twins' languid demeanor abruptly shifted, disbelief evident in their expressions. I paid no heed to the irrelevant outsiders. As I settled down, preparing to cast my line for a big catch, another troublemaker approached. Yu Huayong, you really don't discriminate. It's been nearly a week, and you still haven't broken up? The newcomer rubbed his chin, his round eyes scrutinizing me. This woman is quite ordinary. How have you not grown tired of her? It's about time I had my turn. Yu Huayong remained silent, his focus solely on his fishing rod. I interlaced my arms with his, resting my head on his shoulder, curiously examining the intruder. Dressed head to toe in designer labels, with wild hair and numerous piercings, he exuded an air of cool arrogance. He was a member of their circle, known as He Fanong, who had recently returned from abroad. Once I part ways with Yu Huayong, I intended to ask him to introduce me to He Fanong. A truly sophisticated woman should experience the charm of handsome men. Today's haul was impressive. I even caught a transparent jellyfish. However, due to its toxicity, I had to release it back into the sea. As night fell, a lively chatter filled the air. The twins were considerate enough to help their female companions grill seafood, yet these two women seemed intent on eliciting some reaction from me, relentlessly pursuing me. Look at you, grilling squid all alone. How pitiful. Why must you even cook for your boyfriend? Doesn't he help you? Xiao, why provoke her? The onlookers' gazes were rife with ill intent, yet they refrained from mocking my boyfriend's girlfriend out of respect for Yu Huayong. I remained unfazed. What did it matter? He was my boyfriend, and I indulged him as a matter of intimacy. Outsiders could hardly comprehend. I flipped the squid, achieving a perfect balance of crispiness and tenderness, drizzling it with honey before presenting it to Yu Huayong. Try it, let me know what you think. What do you like to eat? I'll prepare it for you. Yu Huayong finally looked up, took a bite, and slowly remarked that it was acceptable. A smile spread across my face as I caught a glimpse of my own joyful reflection in his eyes. I owe you thanks. It's because of you that I get to enjoy the seafood today. He merely responded with a grunt. As I noticed others watching, I simply smiled politely and nodded, ignoring their inquisitive gazes. When I saw a bit of grease on the corner of Yu Huayong's mouth, I took a wet wipe to clean it off. He glanced at me, hesitated for a moment, then leaned in to plant a gentle kiss on my cheek. I reciprocated with a smile. He was slower to warm up, purer, and far more delightful than the others. Ahem, in public, let us maintain our image. I wondered who had the audacity to say such a thing. Suddenly, I heard someone whistle lewdly. I turned my gaze and spotted He Fanong not far away, winking at me and whistling with unabashed glee. Ah, what a playful spirit he is. I leaned closer to Yu Huayong and softly suggested, it's a bit chilly. Let us head back. Yu Huayong stood up and took my hand, disregarding the curious stares of those around us. As soon as we entered the room, I pulled Yu Huayong into an intimate embrace. He was not particularly enthusiastic about such matters, and I often had to take the initiative, but thankfully, he performed quite well. It was indeed a unique pleasure that lingered in my heart. As Yu Huayong drifted off to sleep, I gently caressed his face. Yes, my love for him only deepened, and I found myself irresistibly drawn to kiss him several times. Having eaten little for dinner, I felt a twinge of hunger. Quietly, I slipped out of his embrace, intending to search the kitchen for a snack. To my surprise, even at this hour, the group was still reveling. Just as I returned with some pastries, I encountered a woman named Xiao. Why are you hiding in here with Yu Huayong instead of joining us? Engaging in some mischief? The evening sea breeze was slightly cold, and as I pulled my coat closer, my loose hair was tousled by the wind, revealing fresh red marks on my neck. I remained silent. Everything was understood without words. Xiao scoffed, her eyes sweeping over me.
Ha, you really are something.
So quickly back with Yu Huayong. What a seamless transition. She leaned closer, lowering her voice. Did you know that Jiangzi and his gang are betting on how long you'll last with him? She flashed a malicious grin. You can't be serious.
Can you?
I smiled subtly. They were part of my past, not my fault. Observing her strikingly beautiful yet ostentatious face, I kindly warned, jealousy can distort one's appearance. Even a beauty like you is no exception. Xiao Xiao's expression froze in disbelief. Excuse me, I said, brushing past her. On my way back, I bumped into Wenren Shi and Jiang Zi, both engrossed in their games with heads bowed. Jiang Zi suddenly stiffened, reaching out to stop me. Did a mosquito bite you? Wenren Shi cast a curious glance at me. What mosquito? That's clearly a kiss mark. I pulled my coat around me, concealing the marks, and smiled softly. This is none of your business. It's unethical to covet your brother's woman. Jiang Zi's face darkened. Then he sneered. Yu Huairong is truly hungry. He'll eat anything. Ugly, smelly stuff, all brought to bed. Wenren Shi, frustrated by their banter, kicked out at Jiang Zi. Who are you mocking? Just because you can't have the grapes doesn't mean they're sour. Seeing the commotion, I decided to walk past them, their bickering echoing behind me. Wenren Shi, how dare you kick me? What of it? I'll still fight you. Two childish fools. Once back in my room, I leisurely finished my dinner and freshened up. Yu Huairong was still asleep. The next morning, when I awoke, Yu Huairong was already gone. Upon searching, I found him once more sitting by the lake, fishing. He wore sunglasses that obscured his expression. Good morning. Have you had breakfast? He nodded slightly. I affectionately leaned in to nuzzle his cheek. Merely gazing at his handsome face was enough to satiate my appetite. Footsteps approached from behind, and when I turned, I discovered Jiang Zi and Wenren Shi both donning sunglasses. I quickly averted my gaze. What was there that I needed to hide? This seaside journey lasted for half a month. Upon returning, I moved into Yu Huairong's standalone villa in the suburbs. Behind the villa lay a serene lake, with a pavilion at its center. Yu Huairong, when free, enjoyed fishing from a boat on the lake. His diet was healthy, and his routine was regular. He ate 3 meals at set times, retired to bed promptly at 10, and woke at 7. He was quite considerate. If I was not ready to sleep, I could play, while he would let me rest undisturbed. How thoughtful. Truly, it was love in abundance. Occasionally, he would attend gatherings with friends, and I would accompany him without objection. Should I choose not to go, he would not insist. The remainder of his time was spent either handling affairs or indulging in fishing at home. One time, his grandfather visited, and the two of them fished together. The elder teased me. This child has been following me since he was little, wobbling behind me with a fishing rod. I've rarely seen a young person as patient as Huairong. Young lady, you must possess considerable patience to spend time with him here. He enjoys it. So I accompany him. Idleness alone can be tedious, but together, we are never bored. Ha ha ha. Indeed, a soul capable of enduring solitude. Before departing, the elder gifted me a jade piece pendant, a precious item I admired and did not refuse. To be frank, I truly appreciated his temperament, calm and steady, akin to tranquil waters, unruffled and undisturbed. Regrettably, our month-long relationship ended. The catalyst was a reckless street race organized by He Fan-nong, once a professional racer abroad. He Fan-nong was forced to give it up upon returning home. He wagered me against Yu Huairong in a racing competition. Unsurprisingly, Yu Huairong lost. What astonished me was that he fell short by a mere 0.001 seconds. I had not anticipated that the seemingly unassuming man who relished fishing would reveal such a thrilling wildness when racing. Alas, it ended in separation. When we parted, Yu Huairong gifted me a fishing rod crafted from pure gold, sincerely wishing that I might catch a golden husband with it. Yu Huairong, the fishing enthusiast, the emotionally indifferent. He Fan-nong was a playful type, a regular at bars and nightclubs. I detested such raucous venues that threatened to shatter my eardrums. Each time we visited such places, I made my aversion clear. After a few times, He Fan-nong grew frustrated. Songzhen, what's with the pretentiousness? You dislike the noise. You don't enjoy playing. Yet when you were courting my brothers, you didn't seem to mind the fun? I subtly suggested that if he couldn't stand it, we could part ways as long as he introduced me to someone suitable afterward. I did not care whether he was pleased or displeased. I merely viewed this relationship as a minor emotional episode, and I had no desire to placate him. A disobedient puppy was not worth my effort to soothe. Unsurprisingly, He Fan-nong, in a fit of rage, laughed bitterly. Fine, fine, be high and mighty. He stormed out. The housekeeper observed this scene with a frown. I stood up, grabbed my bag, and left, ignoring the housekeeper's attempt to intervene. There was no need to linger over those unworthy of my concern. The house that Wenren Shi gifted me had been sold the moment I received the keys and completed the property transfer. With the proceeds, I purchased another unit in the same complex. Coincidentally, The resident below was Jiangzi. So, you've come to my place to pursue me? I told him. It's too late. We've already parted ways. You are now Hifanong's woman. Please maintain some moral standards and refrain from straddling two boats. Jiangzi raised his head haughtily, casting a condescending glance downward, arrogant and rude, reminiscent of a tabby cat I once owned that I could never quite tame. Childish antics. I muttered, glancing at the elevator button. You're blocking my way. Jiangzi's expression shifted awkwardly as he slightly stepped aside, only to obstruct me again as I reached for the button. Why should I move just because you tell me to? Who do you think you are? Trying to boss me around? I disregarded his sudden outburst, hardly granting him a glance. After glancing at the customer service center on the elevator wall, I extracted my phone and dialed. Hello, this is the 6th elevator in Building 6. Someone is obstructing my ability to call it. Please send someone to address this issue. Madam, please hold on. Assistance will arrive in 1 minute. Jiangzi, visibly exasperated, rolled his eyes, his chest rising and falling slightly as he gritted his teeth and forced a smile. My gaze lingered only briefly on his chest, noting his commendable physique. Though his character left much to be desired, he lacked basic decency. Suddenly, Jiangzi, in a fit of indignation, glared at me fiercely and made a call. It's me. No need to come. The issue has been resolved. No sooner had he hung up than my phone rang. Madam, has your issue been resolved? Jiangzi impatiently inquired. Which floor? The 66th. Thank you, I replied, affirming the resolution. The elevator ascended rapidly. Jiangzi leaned back, arms crossed nonchalantly. Where did you get the money to buy a place here? He pondered, a mocking smile creeping across his face. I presume it was all acquired through men. I tossed my hair back, casting him a fleeting glance as if bestowing a favor. His expression momentarily faltered. I replied, nonchalantly, my ex-boyfriend is quite generous. Jiangzi chuckled derisively, his teeth clenched, his eyes darkening as he continued to provoke me. He's just a benefactor. Despite his taunts aimed at unsettling me, I remained unfazed, calmly observing his antics, akin to a monkey in a circus. Frustrated and furious, Jiangzi struck a soft surface with a mighty punch. The elevator doors opened on the 65th floor, but he did not exit. Upon reaching the 66th, he followed me out. Standing at my doorstep, he still lingered. I took my time opening the door, opting instead to call Hifanong. Hello, my friend. I have someone following me who wishes to put a hat on you. Jiangzi attempted to snatch my phone away, but I casually held it against my chest. His hand froze midair, his bravado unyielding. Who do you think you are? Do you believe I would turn back for you? Take a good look in the mirror. It's your misfortune to look so frightful. As he spoke, his eyes darted towards my phone, his Adam's apple bobbing involuntarily. Who knows what he was truly gazing at? I let my gaze drift lower, offering an enigmatic smile. Are your pants meant to conceal length or size? Instantly, Jiangzi's face darkened, his teeth nearly grinding to dust. Meanwhile, on the other end, Hifanong's music blared joyfully, and he muttered something about madness before abruptly hanging up. This action undoubtedly boosted Jiangzi's morale. He regarded me with a haughty stare, as if anticipating my plea for mercy. I dismissed his antics, opening the door as he eagerly attempted to follow me inside, only to be startled back by a sudden bark. Just in time, I closed the door, the soundproofing rendering the outside world silent. Jiangzi pounded on the door for what felt like an eternity, only to receive no response, finally kicking it in frustration. I observed his absurd display of rage on the monitor, a truly embarrassing and uncouth ex, utterly lacking in redeeming qualities. Thank goodness, I never fell asleep next to such a fool. When Hifanong called me, I had already drifted off to sleep, my phone silenced. Upon awakening the next day, I noted a multitude of missed calls and raised an eyebrow. A man who plays until the early hours of the morning somewhat tedious, perhaps a bit tiresome. At 3 in the afternoon, Hifanong called again. If I don't call you, will you not take the initiative to reach out to me? I frowned, recognizing the same lack of decorum shared by those in our circle. Suddenly, I found the situation rather uninteresting. I was on the verge of suggesting a breakup, asking him to introduce me to a more cultured individual. I'm at the racetrack, he stated before hanging up, recalling the last time they raced. I pondered for 3 seconds before deciding to head to the track. From a distance, I spotted Hifanong with his striking blue hair, arms crossed, leaning casually against the car door, his long legs bent at ease. I found him suddenly more agreeable. As I approached, I overheard him say, As long as Jiang Er Xiao asks, I'd be willing to let you sleep with Song Jin just once. I suppressed my emotions, smiling as I walked over. Jiang Zi noticed me first, flashing a wicked grin in my direction. He Fanong, you said it, I will eventually have her. He Fanong shrugged indifferently. As Jiang Zi's gaze shifted to me, He Fanong furrowed his brow, muttering, with a figure like that, you could find countless suitors on the street. I can't believe I agreed to such a tedious wager. I pretended not to hear, ambulating leisurely towards him. He Fanong wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me close, my slender frame fitting snugly against him as I silently beckoned Jiang Zi. A spark ignited in Jiang Zi's eyes. He Fanong, displeased by Jiang Zi's predatory gaze, tightened his grip around my waist, asserting his claim. Jiang Zi's expression grew progressively colder. He Fanong was an excellent driver, his wild driving style exhilarating. I sat in the passenger seat, feeling the adrenaline rush and internally lamenting my choice to date a race car driver. He turned to glance at me. You don't seem to fear anything. I shrugged nonchalantly. Life is life. We are born to live, and the sooner we die, the sooner we can be reborn. He Fanong paused, momentarily distracted, which allowed Jiang Zi to catch up. Jiang Zi rolled down his window, casting a challenging glance at He Fanong. With one hand on the steering wheel, He Fanong pulled me closer and kissed me right in front of Jiang Zi. I was momentarily taken aback by his audacity, but soon realized he was retaliating against Jiang Zi. In the brief interlude of the kiss, I fixed my gaze unwaveringly on the man across from me. Jiang Zi's expression shifted, his long, pale hands gripping the steering wheel, veins bulging with tension and strength as he pressed the accelerator hard. Rather than a race, it resembled a reckless battle between two madmen. It ended in a stalemate. I exited the car, feeling unwell, while He Fanong cheerfully opened the door, circumvented the vehicle, and embraced me tightly, smirking at Jiang Zi still seated inside. Today is a fine day, he hummed nonchalantly. I felt slightly dizzy, my stomach uneasy, yet I clearly perceived Jiang Zi's sullen demeanor. On the way back, the car's radio reported breaking news. Just 10 minutes prior, a modified racing car had crashed into a barrier. According to insiders, the vehicle belonged to the prestigious Jiang family of Jiangzhou. I immediately turned to He Fanong, who remained unfazed. Anyone daring enough to encroach upon a brother's territory deserves a lesson. So he heard about it last night, which explains the incessant calls. He Fanong drove us to his villa in the suburbs. I keenly observed that the mountain opposite housed the standalone villa of Yu Huairong. Upon entering, He Fanong pushed me against the door and kissed me. I never expected you to be quite so popular. The cleaning staff discreetly turned away, opting to mind their own business. He Fanong swept me up into his arms and carried me into the adjacent elevator, which took us directly to his room on the 3rd floor. He kicked the bedroom door shut, gripping my chin firmly, his gaze intense yet appraising. Jiang Zi, didn't he touch you? I nodded, finding a unique allure in his demeanor. Sharing a bed with him would certainly not be a loss. He Fanong posed a question. What do you think of Jiang Zi? I tilted my head in contemplation, only to have He Fanong grasp my chin, compelling me to focus solely on him. Handsome, yet lacking in manners. Just like you. This answer seemed to amuse He Fanong, who raised his eyebrows with pride, even the piercing on his brow appearing more pronounced. He wrapped his arm around my waist, humming with delight. You present quite the contrast. Outwardly demure, yet fervently passionate behind the scenes. I refrained from countering, preoccupied with thoughts of when to end things. He Fanong, a reckless playboy, was utterly unrestrained. He Fanong took me for a leisurely ride through the mountains, leaning in to kiss my neck. Your ex lives across the way, shall we pay a visit? He referred to Yu Huairong, residing on the opposite mountain. Just as I was about to decline, he flicked the reins, jolting me and forcing me to cling to him. This evidently pleased him. We galloped along, the rhythmic sound of hooves drawing near the lakeside. Yu Huairong remained engrossed in his fishing, not lifting his gaze. I let out a cry, biting He Fanong's shoulder in frustration. Beast. At that moment, Yu Huairong finally cast a fleeting glance our way, his expression slightly furrowed. You've gone too far. He Fanong retorted, displeased. She is my woman. What business do you have here, ex? Yu Huairong averted his gaze, staring at the gently rippling lake. The Jiang family will come after you. He deserves a beating. He Fanong scoffed, displaying his indifference. He Fanong was reckless, seemingly oblivious to the danger, as he insisted on riding around the lake. I wished to bite him in half. After the circle concluded, he rode towards Yu Huairong. While I could not see his expression, the atmosphere felt particularly tense. Yu Huairong collected his fishing rod, unperturbed, and turned to leave. He Fan Nong bit my ear, asking, "Can such restraint satisfy you?" I silently scoffed, thinking it better than his incessant, lustful antics. I suppressed my true feelings and feigned a pitiful expression. "Let's head back. I haven't had breakfast yet." He Fan Nong remained silent, merely flicking the reins. Such beastly behavior. In the following days, He Fan Nong appeared increasingly busy, leaving early and returning late. His phone ringing incessantly. I knew the end was near, my heart elated at the thought. He Fan Nong dared to provoke Jiang Ji. The Jiang family would not let him off lightly. For a woman of dubious worth, he had affronted the Jiang family as twins. And the He family would not spare him either. One day, the butler from the He family came to deliver a message. "Miss Songjun, the old master sends his regards. If you wish to live, stay away from my young master." I nodded, appreciating the old man's concern for my life. Seeing my understanding, the butler handed me a check, 10 million after tax, with the stipulation that I refrain from appearing in Jiangzhou City again. Just as I had been planning a seaside vacation, I accepted the check. That evening, He Fan Nong returned. "Did you take the check from the old master?" His tone was harsh, brows furrowed menacingly. I nodded leisurely, flipping through a magazine. "You don't turn down money that comes knocking. That's how we gold diggers operate." He Fan Nong was nearly laughing in anger. "Well then, what a gold digger you are." He loomed over me, slightly bending down, his hands resting on the back of the sofa, casting a large shadow over me. His expression was inscrutable. "Don't let me see you again. I might not be able to restrain myself from killing you." Hearing him say this relieved me, prompting me to pat his face. Happy breakup. He Fan Nong, a playboy with a ruthless streak, had been a constant in my life for 19 days. 3 months later, in a small coastal town, a pure-looking young man with pale skin shyly presented me with a bouquet. "Zhanjia, happy 1-week anniversary."
So sweet.
I smiled, pinching his cherubic cheeks before giving him a kiss. Xiang Zisun's face flushed crimson, and he sheepishly scratched his head. "Zhanjia, shall we have dinner together tonight? I want to cook for you. I've practiced with the chef at home." Seeing his confidence, I raised an eyebrow in approval. "Sounds good. I look forward to your culinary skills." Xiang Zisun slyly wrapped his arm around my waist, his fluffy head nuzzling against my neck. "Are you tired from studying?" My freshman schedule was quite packed. "Yes, very tired. I even think of you in class." "Zhanjia, can you accompany me to Northern Europe during the summer vacation?" He blinked his large, watery eyes, his nose slightly red, an adorable sight.
Of course.
I stroked his soft cheek, teasing no more nuzzling. "Or, you want to get to showcase your cooking skills? Let us head home." Xiang Zisun busied himself in the kitchen while I played on my phone, only to suddenly find myself added to a group chat with gold diggers and their exes. I raised an eyebrow, manually changing the group name to Ms. Song's criminal record.
Liang Zei.
Jiang, Ji Songjun? Wenren Shi, don't look at me. It was an accidental mistake. Yu Huairong chimed in. He Fan Nong. Where have you gone? I snapped a photo of the seaside and sent it to the group, typing quickly, "On vacation." If you have business, speak up. A proper ex should act like they're dead.
Liang Zei repeat. Oh?
Who cares about Jiang Ji? When Ren, she asked, "Why didn't you invite me on vacation? I could have played games with you, though you're terrible at them." Yu Huairong was well suited for fishing. "Are you on vacation alone?" He Fan Nong asked. I snapped a photo of Xiang Zisun in the kitchen, looking adorable, then closed my phone. Xiang Zisun's plating was exquisite, with candles lit and flowers arranged, soft romantic music playing. He was a seemingly innocent soul, with quite the flair for romance. I couldn't help but think that I had struck gold. After enjoying a delightful candlelit dinner, Xiang Zisun went to shower. The moment I opened my phone, a flood of messages and several missed calls awaited me. Jiang Ji's call came through immediately. I pressed the answer button. "Your little boyfriend looks quite young."
How old is he? 18.
Jiang Ji exploded, screaming, "You truly have no moral boundaries. Why are you robbing the cradle?" I held the phone away from my ear. "Not your concern. Mind your own business." Jiang Ji's voice was laced with uncontainable fury. "Where are you on the coast?" "Crazy," I muttered, hanging up and blocking his number. Glancing at my messages, aside from Yu Huairong asking if the fishing was good, the rest were frantic inquiries crossing boundaries. I contemplated, and aside from Yu Huairong, I blocked the other 4. Xiang Zisun emerged from the bathroom, towel in hand. "Zhanjia, who were you on the phone with?" That voice was so loud and rough. I could hear it. "Just my criminal record," I replied. taking the towel from him as he obediently lowered his head, and I leisurely dried his hair. Soon, blushing, Xiang Zisun dashed off to fetch a hairdryer.
Zgenya.
Hurry and shower. I'll lie on the bed waiting for you. I raised his chin, teasing so eager. Xiang Zisun blushed and playfully pushed me towards the bathroom. A year later, Xiang Zisun took me to meet his parents. His mother hesitated, and once others had left, she quietly took my hand, her cheeks flushed, and softly said, "We have no demands for Zisun. We just want him to be safe and happy. As long as you're healthy." Seeing her blushing face, I finally understood where Xiang Zisun's propensity to blush came from. I clasped her hand reassuringly. "Annie, rest assured, Zisun and I will be just fine." The Xiang family had 3 children, with Xiang Zisun being the youngest, spoiled since childhood, and they held no expectations for him to inherit the family business. The meaning of the Xiang family arrangement is to become engaged first and wait for Xiang Zixuan to graduate before obtaining a marriage certificate. I have no objections. On the day of the wedding, I lifted the ban on my 4 exes and sent them invitations. After all, it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect a monetary gift. The Jiang family's twins presented me with 2 yachts. When Rinshi gifted me a parcel of prime real estate in the city center, He Fan Nong bestowed upon me a share in a mutual fund. Only Yu Huairong offered me a pure gold wealth tree, purportedly worth 10 minor goals. Given such lavish gifts, I specifically arranged a table for them. Except for Yu Huairong, the other 4 men glared at me with reddened eyes. Out of respect for the monetary gifts, I feigned ignorance. I approached Xiang Zixuan to toast. Yu Huairong congratulated me, wishing me a happy marriage and a joyful 30th birthday. As soon as he finished speaking, the 4 men simultaneously turned their heads, displeasure etched on their faces. Yu Huairong remained unperturbed. "Thank you." I smiled and clinked glasses with him. He gave a slight nod, his gaze quietly fixed on me, his lips moved, yet he ultimately said nothing, concealing the emotions in his eyes. I pretended not to see. What was missed, and there was nothing to lament. It is the courageous who are truly deserving of my affection. The 4 men, feeling disregarded, began to express their discontent. Jiang Ji chuckled. "It's been 4 years. If it weren't for the wedding, you wouldn't have even let us out of the blacklist, would you?" Jiang Ji added, "Just say the word, and I'll take you away in an instant." When Rinshi declared, "I'm done playing games. Can we reconcile?" He Fan Nong lamented, "My old man has passed. How about we get back together?" A vein pulsed at my temple. I was here to marry, not to reminisce with them. Xiang Zixuan tugged at my arm. "Jinjin,
Don't say that.
the brothers also miss you. It's been 4 years since we last met. I don't mind if you chat with them a bit more."
Don't worry about me, I'm fine.
"I'm quite magnanimous." Yu Huairong paused with his glass, muttering about being defeated by the green tea, White Lotus. The 4 men, their eyes reddening, glared fiercely at Xiang Zixuan. I pulled Xiang Zixuan behind me protectively. Xiang Zixuan provocatively blinked at them, silently mouthing, "Hand down, defeat, surrender." Witnessing their faces redden with rage, I cast a thoughtful glance at Xiang Zixuan. He blinked innocently, as if to say, "I did nothing." I remained noncommittal. Alas, it was merely playful banter. My own husband I shall pamper. The end of the tale. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe. Until we meet again in the next story.